If you work hard, stay curious, and keep leveling up as a welder, you might just end up traveling the world sharing what you know. Welcome to Weld. I'm your host, Bo Wigington, and this week, I'm sitting down with Justin LaFond, an application engineer at ESAB and a good buddy of mine. Justin breaks down his background in welding, what an application engineer actually does day to day, what's going on with the skills gap in the trades, and where the real money is in welding across the country without going broke chasing the Instagram rig life. We dive in right now. Justin LaFond, the man, the myth, the legend.
Bo done welded. The man, the myth, the legend.
So Justin, we do a lot of stuff together.
Yes, sir.
And you have a very interesting past. You've done a lot of different things to get to where you are today. And the job you do today is a job, I always like to say it's a unicorn job.
Some days it doesn't feel like it. But I do have to remind myself that there was a time when I dreamed of doing what I do now. You know, and sometimes you have to stop yourself and take that second to remember that, because it's still a job. Still comes with all the same, you know, frustrations, speed bumps, roadblocks that any job comes with. So I'm a very lucky guy. People are always like, how'd you get where you're at?
Yeah, that's what we want to get, too.
I don't know. You know, right place, right time. I mean, I believe when you get an opportunity, you take advantage of it. I mean, my whole life I was told, you know, you're not going to be able to do that. I didn't have a college degree, right? So I've had to fight that since I've moved away from, like, welding.
Yeah.
Pass a weld test, that's what matters when you're welding, right? How fast you can get it done, production over perfection, right? It's a fine line there. But when I switched to this side, the degree was very much a problem.
Yeah.
Right? They wanted you to have it, and I did not. I can be lazy, but tell me I can't do something.
Yeah. And then you'll do it.
I'm going to find a way to make it work.
Okay. So step back in time. You were a welder for a long time. So, like, what was your, like, main background in welding before jumping into this world?
So, I mean, mostly general fab, right? I grew up around welding, you know, obviously with my father being a welder. And then growing up, I had to go work for him. So anytime that you're a teenager and you grow up at the beach, right? So all your buddies are out at the beach, you know, and playing volleyball and on jet skis, it's punishment.
Yeah.
Right? So as I got older, I wanted nothing to do with it. Ran away, went and did the military thing. But I ended up back in welding. And then, of course, my dad was always the anchor, and he was always there with the welding. So it was always an option for me. So I was always doing it, like, on my off days, right? Because I went to work, you know, firefighter and EMT and all that. I watched too much backdraft growing up, you know what I'm saying? And not good money in that. But you only work 10 days a month. That's full time. So on my off days, I was welding. Well, I was making way more money. Well, so anyway, eventually it just turned into him calling me and going, you know, I need you full time. You know, we can get you percentages. Anyway, that's when I went to welding. And decided that was my fate, I guess, because I had run away from it so many different times. And then when I got into welding, then 08, 09 happened. Most of the welding I was doing, we were general fab, right? So structural, ornamental, a lot of heavy equipment repair, you name it. Hot rod work. We had contracts with
mini bikes.
Yeah, mini bikes. Well, we did a lot of poultry. There's a lot of poultry there. So a lot of sanitary stainless, you know, that kind of stuff. 08, 09, the housing market crashed, right? And so obviously a lot of our welding is due to building, whether it's heavy equipment or structural or ornamental or stainless. And I had a distributor that had been recruiting me, and I wasn't interested at all, you know. But then with the housing crash, I called him. I'm like, yo, you still want me? He's like, you willing to move? I'm like, you paying? And I took a store manager job at a distributor. Well, 2 months in, they decided they want me to be outside sales. They kept throwing money till I couldn't say no. So I think it was like 3 months in, I ended up in outside sales. I do that. Still not a fan. Made a ton of money. Went to him again and was like, this ain't for me. And I went to go cryogenic, do cryogenic certifications with Lindy, you know, install and inspect bulk tanks. And so they sent me to all the school to do that. And I was kind of doing that at the end of my distributor career. But through that, ESAB had come around 3 times in like 5 years recruiting me. But I was a single parent, you know, and there's a lot of traveling that's involved. And I was the man where I was at, so I wasn't super interested in making the move. Well, 9 years in now, and I ain't left, and I've moved through numerous different positions at ESAB. Everything in this world's networking, right?
Yeah.
So I got my job through the people that knew me, through reputation. And when I went to work at ESAB, they had already signed all the paperwork, and they're like, "Yo, we didn't get a resume." I've been recruited to every job I've ever had, or in the fire service, you go take tests and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really, and you show them all your certificates. So anyway, I had to type one up that night. I called Mom. Mom, help your boy out. I need a resume. So, I send it in, and they're like, I get a call the next day, and they're like, "You didn't fill it out." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." They're like, "You forgot your education." Like, it says Hilton Head High School, right? They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Go Seahawks, baby." And they're like, "You didn't put your college on there." I'm like, "Never seen one." And they were like, "Oh." They just assumed, I guess, that I had gone to school. Anyway, we ended up working through that. Obviously, I got the job on experience instead of paperwork, and just went from there, man. I just wake up, put my boots on every day, dude. I don't think there's no huge mathematical equation to success. Like, just get up, go to work,
You're an application engineer on paper, right?
Field application engineer.
That's one of the jobs I've run into a couple times, like going around.
It's a small clique. It's a small world. There's not a ton of us out there.
So what would you say, in a nutshell, if you were to just give like the sales pitch of what you do, what is it?
Whatever they need me to do. Whatever the company's focus is, right? Like if the company's focus is oxy-fuel, man, we're going to be developing, pushing, teaching, whatever, doing safety evaluations at steel mills. We're going to focus on that. Plasma is what they're doing. We're going to be helping develop plasma. We're going to be pushing plasma. We're going to be teaching plasma. Welding, we're going to do that. Whatever. Filler metal. I mean, a field application engineer is kind of supposed to be the jack of all trades, master of none. So we're kind of Swiss Army knife.
So I know being an application engineer, you're going to try to like set people up for success and solve their problems. What are some of the most common problems you run into with different?
It's always the little stuff that gets overlooked. Keeping up with your ground clamps, right? Because that creates resistance. It's like all the little things that like people, they go right to the major problems.
Yeah.
Instead of sticking to the fundamentals. Right, and like making a checklist and just starting at the wall and working forward, or starting at the contact tip and working back, or whatever you're doing, they tend to always go right to doom and gloom instead of just checking the boxes on the fundamentals and the simple stuff. Trust the process, work the process.
What about with like welders out there being the problem? It's how much retraining do you got to do?
How much time you got? I mean, we can go down.
We ain't got that much time.
Yeah, we can go down that road all day. I mean, at the end of the day, your whole company is limited to your operators, right? And it's not a secret that there's a huge lack of knowledge, out here in this industry right now, which is great job security for somebody like me. But there's a lot of fake it till they make it, and it's very common, especially in manufacturing facilities that have high rotation on employees, that a lot of the problems are directly related to their operators. Right, not the equipment or the process or the WPS or any of that. A lot of it is just strictly related to the operators and them not truly understanding what the welding process is that they're running, what a circuit is, what completing a circuit is, what resistance does. Every little bit more honestly just makes you a better welder because you understand what's going on in that arc, in that circuit, and in that machine. And there's a huge lack of knowledge out there right now,
Well, and you get to see it firsthand because you've been doing the demo tour.
Yep.
You've been going all over the place, and you go all over the place anyway.
Yep.
And one of the big things about getting into welding is like, you got different paths, like three big ones. You got your manufacturing, your pipe welding, and your structural.
Yep.
But there's a whole lot more out there.
Oh, yeah. So many different segments.
But across the country, can you give us kind of like a rundown of like, okay, this part of the country does this more, this country does this more?
I mean, even like in the country, you can be, okay, so like Pacific Northwest, right? Like when I go work up there, they're constantly trying to convert people away from cord wires to hard wires and spray processes, right? You come to the Southeast, everybody's trying to get away from the hard wire, go to the cord wires, doing the same exact thing. So, I mean, even if you can be on different parts of the country, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it totally different ways, right? So, it's not just like, so, Southeast, let's be honest, the majority of it's manufacturing, right? And there's been a lot of northern companies that have moved to the Southeast, whether they're getting away from high taxes, union facilities, whatever the case may be. But in the last 10 years, we have had a ton of companies that come to the South from the North, and primarily in the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia area. You get down to the Southwest, it's a lot of power plants, pipelines, refineries, chemical plants, a lot of pipe, right? Get down in that Louisiana, down there in them bayous, it's a lot of ship, right? A lot of barge yards, cutter yards, tug yards, that kind of stuff. Northeast, a lot of ship again, but totally different ship, right? That's all military ship, Navy ship. You got Newport News, Huntington Ingalls, Ebo, Bath Iron, right? Big shipyard country up there. The middle of the country can be pretty much anything. It can be from power plants to mining to you name it. Tanks are everywhere. You got your tankies. So different areas. Like when I do the tour, I tailor it to where I'm at, right? So like next week when I'm up in the shipyard, we'll be doing a lot more stick, dual shield, and self-shielded wire, right? Because that's what they do. When I was in Texas a few weeks ago, it was all pipe, open root, stainless, branches, 36-inch, 6-inch, but it's round and fast down there, So we even tailor the tour to the area we're in because we know what segment of the business is big in that area. Right now, we always keep the other stuff. We just make sure that we're heavy on the things that are popular in that region.
That's super awesome insight because a lot of these younger welders I hear, they're like, I don't want to travel. I don't want to move.
You don't have to.
Knowing where all this work is really important.
It is, and it can help you set your roots if you don't want to move around a lot or travel for work, right? Listen, rig welding's great. Pipes shiny, they look good, starched head to toe. But the kids see that mostly on the internet, right? And so when I'm out here, I'm always trying to let them know, man, there's so many other segments in this business where you can make big boy money and you don't have a $200,000 rig truck, tankies make good money, right? Heavy equipment repair guys make good money. If you're a union iron worker in Chicago, Seattle, New York, you're making big boy money. There's just so many different segments out here that make money. But the rig truck's got big wheels. They're cool to, they get a lot of the shine, and that's what the kids see. And don't get me wrong, if that's your dream to bust out and do that,
do it.
But do it right.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it wrong. They drive themselves in debt, and you're more than likely going to fail your first weld test. You're going to drive out there and be nervous wreck, you know what I'm saying? To me, the kids that come right out of school and want to bust out and go in debt $150,000 on a rig is a recipe for failure.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion. Go be a single hand in somebody's shop. Not just to get your money and your tools up. When you're new, there's going to be rework. You're going to do things wrong. Go do that on somebody else's dime. If you do it off your rig, you're responsible for it.
Yeah.
If you do it in somebody else's shop, they're responsible for it, right? So go get all your mistakes out of the way on somebody else's dime as well. That saying, an education isn't free, that's a true statement. Now, who's going to pay for that education? You or the employer you're working for is the real choice, right?
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that kids understand that as well. If you're out there as a rig guy, you're responsible for all that. And if you're a new guy, go get that education on somebody else's dime, not off the back of your truck, on your dime, right? Yeah. And while you're getting that education, it gives you the time to get your tools up so you ain't got to go in debt, right? Buy them one at a time, get your tools up to get your rig ready for when you do want to bust out.
Yeah.
And then you're also getting your education on somebody else's dollar.
That's smart, man.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to upgrade their setup, they want to learn more about ESAB and learn what kind of machine's right for them, how do they contact people like you?
Obviously, I'm online. You can always call 1-800-ESAB-123. We have, tech services, salespeople on those lines. You can always reach out to your local distributor. They have people. They also have contact to our sales reps, that they can put you in contact with. You can even email our customer service, and they will get your information to the sales rep that covers wherever you're at. So there's numerous ways to be able to get a hold of ESAB, whether it's through social media, our website, esabna.com, 1-800-ESAB-123. Any of those ways can get you in contact with people to get more information about ESAB.
It looks like we got some repairs we got to make,
Looks
but
like
I
they're pulling
really
up.
appreciate getting the story of Justin LaFond, man.
It's not that exciting, but I appreciate you having me on, man.
Hey, you're a wealth of knowledge, and I'm happy to have it.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I'm always pleased to come out and hang out. Bo did it. Bo done
Oh,
it.
did it, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Weld, and a huge thank you to Justin for coming on the show and for jumping in and helping us out with that repair station at Mini Mayhem. I sure had a blast, and I can't wait to see what kind of builds you cook up for next year. Also, huge shout out to ESAB for setting us up with that station. If you want to check out their machines and see what solutions might fix the problem you've been having, head over to esab.com/NA and check out all the cool machines they have rolling out. I'm Bo Wigington, and until next time, we'll see you out there.